Doctor Who, ranking the classic animations. Hello and welcome to another video. Now this time around I thought I'd do, as the title suggests, a ranking of the classic series missing episode animations that we've had since pretty much started, really, with the invasion in 2006 and the most recent and potentially the last, certainly the last for some time, in The Abominable Snowmen. How many have there been? There's the invasion, there's Reign of Terror, 10th Planet, Moonbase, then there's Power, various versions of Power, Macra Terror, Shada, Fury, Faceless Ones, Evil, Galaxy 4, and Abominable Snowmen. Okay, last place. The absolute worst Doctor Who classic animation we've got is, of course, episode 3 of The Web of Fear. A product so staggeringly awful, how it was released is beggars belief. I don't understand how they had the cheek to release it. Then again, this is the same company that had the cheek to release those quote-unquote recons of the Underwater Menace, which were completely unwatchable. And Web of Fear animation is completely unwatchable. It's garbage, and it's really a shame, because the Web of Fear is one of the best Troughton stories and an absolute classic. The Adam Bullock one that was on YouTube, I don't know if it's still available, but that was way better than the supposedly professional product that we got. That's just absolute garbage. I'm sorry. The next worst to me was The Abominable Snowmen. I thought The Abominable Snowmen was terrible. I know some people preferred it to Fury from the Deep. I didn't. I wasn't really that bothered by the long arms stuff. I didn't even really notice that, to be honest. What was hard not to notice with The Abominable Snowmen was how god awful the Yeti was. I mean, the absolute nadir really is that scene where they attack the monastery, which we could only imagine would have been a really tense, atmospheric, and scary scene on TV in live action. And on the animation, it's comically bad. The monks stand around unmoving while the Yeti waddle forward, whack them, and they fall down like stick figures. There's no atmosphere, there's no menace. It's hilariously bad, and it just makes the thing pretty much impossible to sit through. Add to that the PC retcon ethnicizing of the characters is incredibly insulting to the actors and to the freaking director. How dare they not have found a whole host of Asian actors in 60s Britain? Because, there were tons of them, honest. I mean, for fuck's sake, what is wrong with you fucking PC turds? You're idiots! I'm sorry, there's no excuse for it. It's just sheer, arrogant, narcissistic idiocy. And when you start doing this on something that's supposed to be a recreation of a slice of 60s TV, oh, go away. At this point, I can't say I'm sorry to see the back of the animations. And let's hope if we do get some more, we get people who aren't bloody stupid doing them, because fuck off already. Next one, I would guess. Again, I know this is not going to be terribly popular. Galaxy 4, maybe. No, the Ice Warriors. The Ice Warriors. I know a lot of people like that animation. I didn't. The last time I watched the Ice Warriors, I actually skipped it, because I watched about 15 minutes of the first one, and it was just like, this is crap. It's the same with the problem with The Abominable Snowmen. There's no atmosphere. And I really like the Ice Warriors. I like the Ice Warriors as a story. I think the live action episodes are incredibly well done, really well directed, some great production, and there's some real atmosphere in there. And the cartoon, they're just cartoons. There's no depth to it, and there's no atmosphere, and it's just lame. I'm sorry. So that was next for me. Next up was Galaxy 4. I wasn't overly keen on Galaxy 4. Again, you have them doing weird things like changing the way the spaceship looks, which makes it basically so that it doesn't fit in with the extant episode at all. I don't mind necessarily them doing that if it's a story that's completely missing, but when you're making it so that it looks incredibly jarring with the live action one, I can't help feeling that we've rather missed the point somewhat of what these animations are supposed to be. It just, yeah, what? No. After that, I'm gonna say Faceless Ones and Evil. I wasn't really keen on either of these, and again, I know a lot of people were. I wasn't, because again, it was the same kind of flat style as the Ice Warriors, the same kind of very cartoony style, and it just again, you look at the extant episodes, and there's a lot of atmosphere in those, and it doesn't translate to the animations, at least not with the way that these animations are done. And it's because of that I find them a real struggle to get through. Okay, now on to slightly more positive ones. I guess next up would be the 10th Planet. I'm not a big fan of the 10th Planet as a whole, but I think the animation is pretty decent for what we get of it. After that, I would say the Macra Terror, which is okay. Some of the scenes are really well done, especially with the Macra, and there's a lot of atmosphere to them. Again, some of it is slightly too much of that cartoony style, but yeah, it's not bad. What are we into now? Is this like top 4 now, I think? Okay, number 4. And I know this is going to get me some stick. I don't care. 4th place for me is the Reign of Terror. And I know everybody hates the Reign of Terror. I really like it. I really, really like it. I watched that story, and I'm actually quite disappointed when the animation ends and we go back to live action, which is not something I can say about most of them. I really like the stylized thing. It's heavily stylized, but it really works for me. The likenesses are some of the absolute best in the animations. I know people complain about the editing. I can't say it bothered me at all. I really, really like the Reign of Terror style. I would certainly rather have seen, Abominable Snowmen and Faceless Ones and that lot done in that style than in the one we did get. But that's just me. Sorry. 3rd place, I would say Shada. I think Shada was really well done. It's really fun. It is cartoony, but then that's okay because it's a cartoony story. It kind of suits the sensibility and the zany and the humor. It's not trying to be a scary story and then being represented by flat cartoons. It's a zippy, fun, humorous story, and the animation has a zippy, fun style to it, and it just enhances what to me is a fantastic story. 2nd place, I would say The Invasion. Again, it's more stylized than some. It's not as likeness accurate, but at the same time it's a lot more fluid and it's a lot more stylish and it's a lot more atmospheric. I really think that Cosgrove Hole put a lot of effort into making those two animations really atmospheric to match the story. And even though, again, it's obviously a different visual look than the live action, it actually has an atmosphere to it that fits in with what the story is trying to do. And I think it's very good. And it's a great shame that, obviously, we were never able to get them to do any more, and they don't even exist anymore, which sucks. So. But I would have to agree, even though I may differ with many people on the Reign of Terror, I would have to agree with many that the absolute best animation we've had is the Moonbase. Again, I think a lot of it, of course, is from the Reign of Terror, but it's slightly more fluid. But again, the likenesses are dead on. It matches the extant episodes. They're beautifully done. It's hard to complain about the episodes being missing because they're recreated so faithfully and so atmospherically, and it makes for such a non-jarring viewing experience. I think the Moonbase is the best animation, and I really hope that if we do ever get any more animations, that they are more in this style than the style we've had in the last few years. Because bugger, I've missed out Fury from the Deep, haven't I? Oh dear. Put Fury from the Deep just before, just below Reign of Terror. I know a lot of people would object to that. I found the Fury animation good enough, and I think the story was strong enough that the animation was good enough to carry it and convey it. And I know some people said the Abominable Snowman was better. I'm not seeing it, because I do think that they managed to do the weed creatures and the weed monster. There was a lot more fucking menace to those than there was those ridiculous stick figure yetis that we got in Snowman. That's just my opinion. But yeah, I do hope if we ever get any more that they're going to be more like the Moonbase and less like the Abominable Snowman, because these last bunch of animations, except for maybe Fury, I've really found a terrible slog to get through, and it starts to get kind of depressing after a while. You want to be enthusiastic about it, and you're like, this is kind of boring, dude. Oh well. Anyway, that's my ranking for the classic Doctor Who animations. I hope you enjoyed it.